Now, this slightly more advanced vocabulary, slightly more advanced collocations, but still nothing to be afraid of because the rules are still exactly the same. So the point of phobia, let's go through the example question. The point of phobia awareness speak, so why something is happening, the point of something, why something is happening. So this is a great collocation to remember for future writings and so on. So the point of phobia awareness week is to, and you can remember that however you learn English, whether you learn English by words or in phrases or in collocations. The point of something is to is a fantastic collocation, and if you're writing essays or in your oral exams, then that's a collocation that you can without doubt use in pretty much every single answer, I would imagine, or find a context to use that. So the point of phobia awareness week is to highlight the difficulties that many people face in everyday situations. It is important to something between a fear and a phobia. Now, once again, this is all about collocations, should be your first clue. So which of the answers can we use? Which of the answers can collocate with between? Can you choose between things? Yes, you can. Can you distinguish between things? Yes, you can. Can you select between two things? No, you can't. Can you pick between two things? No, you can't. So straight away, we're down to two options, A and B. So now context is important. Are we making a choice, which would be A, which would be choose, or are we trying to find the difference between two things? The context suggests that we're trying to find a difference between two things, in this case, a fear and a phobia. So the answer here is B. And if I can get my cursor back across, where's it gone? There it is. So the answer for here, number one, is B. Now, for number two, it's something usual for all of us to have our own peculiar fears. So what this is trying to say is that it's normal for us to have our own peculiar fears. That's the basic message. So let's get into the language side of things. Usual is an adjective, and we know that we need an adverb to modify an adjective. So you need adjectives to modify nouns, and we need adverbs to modify adjectives and to modify verbs. So we need an adverb here, and certainly all of the answers that we have are all adverbs. Very absolutely, quite and truly. But they are different types of adverbs. I'm going to click on this link here. I'm sure you remember, and once again I'll post the link to this in the video description once the video is on YouTube. I'm sure you've come across the idea of gradability of adjectives. Normally it's the first thing that you meet, but you also have the gradability of adverbs. So you have some adverbs which are gradable, and you have some adverbs which are ungradable, which means and the adverbs that we want here are gradable adverbs. I'll let you read that in your own time, but it narrows down the choice to very and quite. So then we've got to think of what's the normal collocation, what's the normal vocabulary? Is it very usual for something to happen, or is it quite usual for something to happen? Bearing in mind that we're talking about something being normal, or normal not and not being a bit strange perhaps. So the answer here, the correct collocation, would be quite. It's quite usual for all of us to have our own peculiar fears. For example, being anxious around snakes or nervous about flying. However, only a very small proportion of us actually have a phobia or a fear of these things. When these fears begin to what you embarrassment. Now, we've got to once again think about collocations. Which of these verbs works with the noun embarrassment? Now, the noun embarrassment is key here, because if it was the adjective, if we said embarrassed, then we could say makes you embarrassed, not a problem. But we can't say makes you embarrassment. So B is Not the correct answer. Can you create you embarrassment? Not really. We can create embarrassment, of course we can, but we can't create you embarrassment. So the language that we're presented with here also rules out C. Do you give you embarrassment? Can people give other people embarrassment, or can situations give people embarrassment? Not really. It's not the correct collocation, which means the answer here is A, to cause you embarrassment. Or, and let's continue with the text, or you feel that your life is being disrupted, then you would be wise to seek treatment for what potentially could be a phobia. By far the most something phobia, by far the most something phobia. So we need the correct adjective to collocate with phobia. The most standard phobia? Not really. The most average phobia? The most normal phobia? Well, you can't say most normal. This isn't a collocation. Is it? Yeah, you can't say normaler, normalist. Or can you? Maybe you can. I can't. Normaler. The more, yes, we could say more normal than most normal. Yes, you can. So the most normal, but it sounds a bit strange. The collocation is a little bit weird, but most common, not a problem. A very, very common collocation. So the most common thing, in this case, the most common phobia. So that's our answer for number 4. And particularly the most disruptive is agoraphobia. The word derives from Greek, and 5 means fear of the marketplace. Now, the key bit in the sentence beforehand, so the word derives from Greek. So the word has its roots, it comes from the Greek language. And what follows is what we're trying to say that it exactly means. But we use a different expression when we're saying what something exactly means, because when we're translating generally old language, Greek and Latin and so on, and we try to translate it into modern language, sometimes it's we have the translations, but if we think about the translations or the original word exactly, then sometimes we have a funny translation. To give you an example, my name is Simon. Simon is apparently meant to mean the listener. So Simon literally means the listener. And so when we have a look at the original Greek words, we have a look at what they literally mean. In other words, if we were to take that original word, and translate it directly, that would be the literal meaning of something and what we know it to mean today. So we have the literal meaning and the actual or official meaning. So this is the collocation that we're looking for number 5. It literally means fear of the marketplace. And the Oxford Dictionary does a much better job of explaining what literally means compared to what I just did. So if you're not happy with my explanation, then please go on to this. Once again, I'll link this I'll link this page in the video description below the video when it's finished. Okay, let's go back to CAE. But we apply it today to describe a distressing condition in which people 6. Which people going outside because of the awful feelings of anxiety that arise. So what we're trying to say here is people don't want to go outside. They want to do whatever they can in order not to go outside. So straight away we can cross out C and D. So miss and slip are 2 words which do not mean the same as not wanting to go outside. So we're left with 2 words. We're left with A and B, dodge and avoid. Now, both of them mean more or less the same thing, but so what's the difference between them? Here, I would argue The difference is one of register or formality. Dodge is informal, avoid is formal. Given the context of this article that we've got, this uses formal language. So in order to fit that context, in order to fit that style, the answer would be avoid. Because you can dodge something, but we generally use that in an informal way. We wouldn't use that, for example, in a business report or in the legal world or in the medical world or so on. You would use that if you were talking to friends. I dodged I dodged something. But if you were talking to someone else on a more formal context, then you would say avoid. If you think there's a different answer between dodge and avoid, then please get in touch and let me know. I'm more than happy to improve my explanations if you're not happy with them. Number 7, treatment of phobias usually consists of the patient behavioral therapy, during which they gradually get used to being near the object or the situation that causes them fear. So we need to, reading the sentence to the end to get the context is important here. And the idea is that the patient, the person who is suffering from this phobia, is taking part in some form of treatment, some therapy, in order to get better, which means the answer can't be B, because we would have to say taking part in, and of course that language structure isn't there, so it can't be B. You don't, as a collocation, you don't do therapy. Therapy is not something which is done, so that collocation also is wrong. Similarly, you don't experience therapy, because it's being done specifically on you. So experience might be that it could be that give you the context that you were in the area, or you had night, or you saw what was going on, or something might have affected you, or something like that. And that's not what we're getting at here. So we don't experience therapy, but we do undergo therapy. We do undergo treatment. So if you're, from a medical point of view, if you're ever talking about medicine, and that topic does arise from time to time in FCE, CAE, and Matura exams, then the collocation that you need is to undergo therapy or a treatment of some kind. And so that's why the answer is A. Now, let me move myself across one more time. Where can I put myself? I'll put myself here. I try not to be in the way. So for number 8, drugs may be prescribed to treat anxiety. Let me move myself out of the way. Drugs may be prescribed to treat anxiety, and many people choose, excellent vocabulary, alternative therapy such as acupuncture or hypnosis to help them, to help them come to what? Come to a what with their fear and conquer it. So once again, the preposition is important. Acceptance with something, come to acceptance with something, not good. Come to terms with something, sounds okay. Come to realization with something, not a good collocation. Come to comfort with something, not really. The expression, the phrase that we're after is to come to terms, which means to accept something. In this case, accept their fear and conquer it. Okay, if you've got any comments at all, positive or negative, if you want me to go over anything again, or if you have any questions, then please get in touch. And I hope to see you again soon, where I go through some more use of English, reading, listening, and even maybe writing exercises to help you get ready for your English exams. Thank you very much and goodbye.